Welcome to Health Matters with Dr. Nelson Bulmash, sponsored by the UI Radio Network at uiradionetwork.org. Catch us on Facebook and Instagram at United Intentions and Twitter at Higher Intention. Look for us on 99.1 FM, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, Blog Talk Radio, and many more. Over the next hour, we'll introduce you to some fascinating people and engaging discussions that may provide you with answers to assist in revolutionizing your own personal health. And now, here's Dr. Nelson.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. Welcome to Health Matters. We have a very interesting show today, but before we get into the real body of the show, I have invited my special friend and guest, Tim Ray, who is the owner and founder of United Intentions. So, Tim, you and I are going to jump in just a second. I want to thank everybody, those of you who are listening to our show right here in Atlanta on Talk 10 FM and WGJY FM 99.1. Welcome and thank you for joining us. And for you fine folks up in Kentucky and Ohio, it's a privilege. Thank you. I hope to hear more from you folks, by the way, particularly my friends and family out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. If you're unfamiliar with my show, that is if you're new to it, Health Matters is dedicated to discussing the very best of health, inspiration, and spirituality. So you have entered a new time zone, folks. So if you're finishing up at work, if you're on your way home, be prepared. We have a fascinating hour to entertain you with. As we go through today, I want you to map the questions that I'm going to mention in a few minutes onto your own life. Don't just listen to great information. Make sure you use great information. If you're listening to somebody like me, or if you're going to be listening to my friend next to me, Tim Ray, who has done unbelievable things to help drive conscious media in the United States, and soon I will be saying in the world, learn from what you hear. Take the very best of what you hear, map it onto your life, and create an extraordinary life, one intention at a time. If you're interested in calling in today, please feel free to do so. The call-in number is 678-495-4345. And if you want to submit your questions and comments, we'd love to hear from you. Do so through Facebook Live. Tim, welcome. So good to have you here, my friend.
Listen, getting the opportunity to sit next to the bull, not many people get that chance in life. And
thank you.
Dr. Bulmash is one of my favorite people I know, and I just want to thank you for having me come in and share a little bit of what we got going on here.
I appreciate it so much. So, folks, listen, by the way, before I forget, since Tim is sitting right next to me, we'd love for you to connect with us. If you want to do so online, please get a hold of us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. You may do so by looking us up at United Intentions. And for those of you who are on Twitter, look us up at Higher Intention. Tim, let's talk about what you're up to, because this man, every time I sit with him, I can't wait. He's that person you can't wait to speak to the next time, because he's like Santa Claus. Every time he comes into the studio, I'm like a little kid. What's Santa going to bring me? What's Santa going to bring me? Tim, talk to us. You got a big event coming up. Is it this weekend?
Yeah, a couple of big events. Yes, we do.
Talk to us. What's going on?
And I'll also mention a little bit about something I think you can be very excited about. This is I've been kind of keeping sacred about.
Okay.
Santa's been keeping a little bit secret about here, Nelson. So you will have a chance to hear all about it here in a minute. But first, we got really something big coming up here. We have the Power of We Symposium. It's an organization started. It's a nonprofit started by Lauren Michael Harris, and he's coming in and has people flying all over the country, around the world, flying to Atlanta. They're coming in today, but the symposium is on Friday, May 10th, and it's all about helping the inner kids who are basically getting up every day in this. And if you've been in the inner city and some of the pain and suffering a lot of these kids have to go through just to get to school,
Yeah.
and he's rewarding them by having this big event to share with them how they have a bright future. They have a reason. It's their payoff why they're getting up every day and going to school, and they're having it at the Biltmore. At this the Biltmore. This is a high-end experience,
Right.
red carpet experience. Awaken Atlanta, UI Media Network will be there. Shannon McVeigh will be there with myself and all our producers, and we're going to be filming the red carpet. We have celebrities coming in. The biggest thing is, and Doc, you need to come to this, by the way.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it. Tell me about it.
Okay, MTV is coming. 20 people from MTV are coming. They're gonna be filming it. They have one of the folks loves Lauren, what he's doing. One of the guys on the reality show they're doing now. They will be there, so you can have all this coverage, and this is something that everyone's gonna want to have a chance to go down. I still think there's maybe some tickets you could get, and it's the Power Week Symposium at, of course, Atlanta 10th. And it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 to 5, all day Friday, at the beautiful Biltmore Ballrooms in downtown Atlanta. You can have 250 middle school kids there, all have an opportunity. You have speakers all around the world going to be there sharing their wisdom and their story. I'll be speaking at noon too, sharing a little bit of what we have to offer in the UI media world. It's going to be a great experience. So guys, if you want to, Justin Blue, that's who it is. Justin Blue will be a cast member at MTV The Real World Season 33. Season 33, I remember it was Season 1.
I know. Oh my God, we're dating ourselves. I was there with you, my friend, a long time ago.
So if you guys want to learn more, go to powerofwesymposium.com. powerofwesymposium.com. Fill that out and meet us down there. Meet, Wake in Atlanta crew. Shannon, and now Dr. Bulmash will be there.
Yes.
All right, hopefully.
Very exciting.
All right.
Tim, I don't want everybody to forget. You have a show tomorrow yourself. Tell us about it.
Wednesday I have a show on the Good Intention Show, and then of course we have the Wake in Atlanta show on Thursday, Thursday morning, and I'm looking forward to that as well. We have it's going to be on Good Kid, Bad Kid, and we have Lauren Michael Harrison will be sharing that because he's coming on as our Waking partner. He grew up in the foster home, really rough experience, and he's now giving back. He's giving back to the world, and it's going to be a great experience about what's a good kid, bad kid. Can we even label them anymore? It's going to be a really great, funny show. Of course, Shannon's always a hoot, right?
Yes, she is. Shannon McVeigh. She'll be amongst her peers there.
Exactly.
I mean that in a wonderful way, Shannon.
Hey,
You're always so happy and youthful the way you show up. It'll be an interesting experience.
I said on the show today, I go, guess who the good kid is? I'm the good kid, Shannon's the bad kid. She's like, no, it's not true, but it is true. But
we love you, Shannon.
Kind of. No, just kidding. I love you. And also, the big event also be coming on Saturday is and you're gonna love this.
Yes.
And this is maybe not more closer to you and maybe more dear to you because it's all about integrative health and integrative wellness.
My specialty.
Family Wellness Expo we're generating, and guess who's going to be there? Wake in Atlanta. It's all interactive experience. This is what they're offering for all ages: free health analysis, free lymphatic drainage demos.
Okay. Very important.
Pilates demonstrations, chair massages, variety of brief integrative health talks, product samples, healthcare refreshments, scavenger hunts, door prizes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Cherokee Corners, which is 5060 Sugar Pike Road in Canton, Georgia. You're going to have just incredible information. I mean, just the lymphatic system alone. I mean, it gets no play in the medical system, does it?
It gets no play at all. And if your lymphatics doesn't work, you don't work. And it's funny because in the United States, we think of it as the sewer line. In other countries, you know what I'm saying? In other words, the lymphatics is where a lot of the cellular debris is poured into and then eliminated through the blood, through the liver, and then out your bowels, if you will.
Right.
But it's a very important system. And if you're not pooping, you're not happy to.
Well, I didn't know all this. In fact, I didn't know that it kind of mirrors our circulatory system.
Yes, it does.
And I'm like, that takes up that much room, and then our gut is like one of the main nodes we have for processing our immune system.
Well, think about this. In all major cities, if you don't have an adequate sewer system, if you don't have a system that can handle all the refuse, you end up with things like bubonic plague. You throw trash out on the streets, you bring in rats who are diseased, and we get ill. Yeah. So your lymphatic system is critical, particularly for those of you folks who are compromised, who have health challenges like cancer, autoimmunity, and any number of degenerative diseases.
And I have to say, Doc, I consider it mandatory to have that go through this type of wellness, whether you're dealing with lymphatic system or infrared saunas or whatever, because we're being toxified every day.
Yeah.
The land, the sea, the sky, just the ground. We have to detox ourselves on top of trying to, eat healthy food.
Right. It's so interesting, Tim, because people talk about let's do all these charity drives, all these fundraisers for cancer and diabetes, and though it's very well intentioned, if we don't change the fundamentals of how we live, if we don't handle the tremendous use of highly toxic chemicals in the environment, in our foods, if we don't wake up and say, hey, it's not okay to spray certain compounds.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name specifics, but things that have, let's say, glyphosate in them, right? Which destroy our gut, which increase what's called the porosity of the gut, so things go through the gut lining that we can't process effectively because they're not made to be in the blood. And this sets us up for so many.
It's a foreign object.
Yeah, right.
And we're finding out too with integrated medicine, and I know this is a kind of a little touchy topic, but things when you get, whether it's tattoos or you get implants or you get foreign objects you put in your body.
Yes, or on your body, right?
It's not that your body can't handle it, but it's always putting. Isn't it true, counselor? I was just in jury duty last week.
Yes.
That it's constantly puts your immune system working all the time. So a little bit here, a little bit there, and now you got this overworked immune system, always trying to deal with these foreign objects that can never go away.
Yeah.
And so it's taken away from other areas of your life that you could be helping with your immune system, right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I can't tell you, Tim, how many people, for example, young people have come in and said, Nelson, I got this tattoo on my low back, and all of a sudden I noticed that I can't stop peeing. Well, because the kidney meridians run right up the back. And so when you get a tattoo, folks, you are creating what's called an interference field, which means you are scarring permanently elements of the sympathetic nervous system. So you can get an overfiring or an improper firing of the nervous system that causes stress of organs, glands, and other body parts. So, I've had this with people who get tattoos on their shoulder and they end up having heart issues. I've had people who get tattoos around their ankle and they end up having kidney problems. Look, please think very, very carefully if you're going to tat your body. I mean, I understand that some people have things that are so meaningful, a spouse who died, something like that, but be really careful, be mindful what you do, who does what they do, because once it's done, once you scar the body, Tim, once you put breast implants in, I mean, I guess you could take the breast implants out, but this seems to be something that's surging.
Yes.
I thought people get more educated and less people would do this.
Yes.
I'm seeing more and more people,
because
women who are doing
they're not getting access to the education and the truth. And you said something very important. I always thought, I didn't realize that with tattoos. I always thought tattoos was leaking slowly poison into your body, which often certain inks can, But on top of that, you have this issue too, with the blocking your meridians. Blows my mind. One last thing, I know you got to be. You only have me. He only allows me here for a few minutes here because
all good fun though.
All good fun. But is one thing we have coming up here, and I think you're going to be very excited about this.
Talk to me.
We're developing. Of course, we had our online community where you can learn, create, track, and manifest intentions. However, what we've combined now is our app, uimediaapp.com, which you can watch all our shows 24 hours a day, anytime you want to. Right. This smart app, we actually now putting on our community. So not only can you see it normally by going onto the app, but if you click on community, you could actually go into the community and watch all the shows within the community. And just like on Facebook, you could type live with your friends there, and you can see everybody's comments live as you're going watching the shows.
I love it.
And so now people have a chance to enjoy the UI, all the UI media shows in a community where you can have your own profile, you can learn to create intentions, you get to know each other, you're communicating, you're watching, you're sharing, it's going to be an incredible experience, one-stop shopping.
This foundation, the United Intentions Foundation, folks, is incredible. As you often hear me say, and it may be a little corny, but it's very, very true, we are changing the world one conscious intention at a time. The guests, Tim, the guests that we bring in, the hosts that we have doing the shows, they're incredible.
And we have so many more new hosts coming in too, Doc. I meant to tell you, we got 3 or 4 more that we're prepping right now. Poor Suchi's working overtime.
I'll bet she is.
And then our goal is to get 30 hosts on the network by next quarter. And then about in the year, I'm really going to push to get about anywhere from 75 to another 100 hosts on our network.
Oh my goodness! So we're going to go 24/7.
Yeah,
what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
24/7, folks.
Yep.
Higher consciousness media.
Yeah.
The time is now, right now. Join us, please, and thank you for joining us. And by the way, thank you so much for sharing our shows. Our analytics are going up.
Yes,
we're
absolutely.
growing
Yeah.
more and more. You were telling me that what are we getting? 500 new hits a day.
Yes.
For our new app.
Yeah, we went from 2,000 to 5,000 people downloading our app within 1 week, and we're expected to be going up about 1,000 every few days. So I figured by the next 2 weeks we'll be at 10,000 downloads on our app for uimediaapp.com.
We are doing incredible things, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Tim, is our next guest ready? All right.
So we can take.
So we got about 30 more seconds, and then
take a break, and
Yeah.
then I'll be gone. So listen, guys, real quick and recapping. If you guys want to enjoy Awake in Atlanta, Shannon, just go for Shannon McVeigh's part. You should come for that too. On Saturday, the Family Wellness Expo, the Health Right Away Wellness is putting it together from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday at 11 a.m. So check that out. And of course, the We Symposium on Friday all day.
fantastic.
Well, thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you.
Confidence. That's the key to unlock the door to unlimited speaking opportunities. The question is, do you have it? The answer is yes. But where to find it? Entrepreneur and public speaker Mark Stephen Pooler designed a brilliant speaker program to give you the blueprint to build confidence and become a genius entrepreneur and successful public speaker. In his 3-hour workshop, one-to-one or group coaching programs, you'll learn proven techniques, tools, and mindset development skills to help your career, business, or team to blast off into success. And to commemorate the launch of this phenomenal program, he'll be giving away a signed copy of his book, Tips to Create the Life You Desire, and a 1-hour coaching session. Simply visit www.markstephenpooler.com. That's Mark, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, Pooler.com. Press Yes, I Want to Move Forward, and type WIN to claim your gifts and your new opportunities with a brilliant speaker program. Don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get more speaking gigs, bring in more money, and create the life you truly desire. Confidence is everything. Don't be left with nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. You're listening to another episode of Health Matters through the UI Media Network. My second guest today is a remarkable man, and I don't know if I should talk about the Big Bang Theory with him or if we should talk about things like coaching for relationships or psychological counseling. But today I think we're going to focus on helping people improve the quality of their relationships. His name is Dr. Gil Tavan. He is an extraordinary man. And I have to give all your credentials because you may be the most credentialed man I've ever met. You have a bachelor's degree, I believe, in aeronautical engineering. You have a master's in astrophysics. You have a PhD, as I recall, is in cosmology, right? And then a PhD in clinical psychotherapy.
Holistic counseling, correct.
Okay, and you're a rabbi. I'm inviting you to all my parties. You are that perfect friend who I could have at any situation and be completely engaged. It's such a pleasure to have you here today, sir.
It's a pleasure to have met you and to befriend you, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be on your show.
Thank you so much. I want to give the folks a little bit more background here. You are a doctor of holistic counseling specializing in regression, psychotherapy, dream interpretation, integrative holistic medicine, guided imagery, psychological counseling, mysticism, and many other therapies. It's so great to have you here. I want to begin this way. In 2016, the general conversation, if you will, the feel-good nature changed dramatically as a result of the presidential election. And I don't want to have a conversation about politics. I want to have a conversation about relatedness, about creating community, about being able to stand in front of or with somebody who may have ideological or political differences that may be diametrically opposed to your own, and still at least be able to have a conversation based in reverence. What do you say we address that?
Right. This is an excellent topic that you picked.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And it's beautiful. I don't know if you public know Dr. Nelson Bushland, that I had the pleasure to meet. That is a very, very, not only down to earth, but very harmonious person and a person of conversation to speak to. So I'm sure there's no division and diversion by you and by your home.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm a man that's always looking for a gateway, a pathway. How can we create a respect for each other, so that we can create something really that's founded in love, or at least out of respect, so that the world is better having us come together.
Right. Well, let's first of all, in short, speak about the issue, the challenge, and then we'll speak about the solutions in short.
Perfect.
Again, we're discussing politics, we're discussing how to sort out the world's biggest issue, which is today, which is aversion and division. Well,
Yes.
what is it promoted by? What is it engaged? What incites it? Ego of people, desires, different wishes, different wills, different needs
Right.
of people, different opinions, different beliefs, different religions. So we're talking about the most ingrained fundamental elements that any person is up to and what actually makes them work. And therefore, to sort such a problem out is a very big challenge. However, if we agree, for example, to disagree, we respectfully listen to each other.
Yes.
If we look for the common denominator,
Right.
if we look for a solution which is a win-win situation, meaning, for example, let's talk about, for example, religion. A person can have his own religion, a person can have his own political decision or opinion, or it can also be a discussion about different health situations or about your diet. Are you taking keto?
Yes,
or
yes, right. I never in my life, Gil, I never in my life thought that I could get in a fight with somebody about nutrition. Who would have known 20 years ago that one of the hottest topics of division would be, are you keto? Are you vegan? Are you vegetarian? Are you paleo man?
Absolutely. And therefore, we get ourselves into this stand with so much hold to what is valuable to us. However, if we do come from a humble perspective, understand that different people, we've got 7 billion people on this earth, everyone has got at least 2 different opinions. And
Right.
respectfully understand the spectrum of people, respectfully understand that somebody else is entitled to their opinion. And therefore, listen to them, try to find a common denominator between us and them. And if we don't agree, and it can be, as you said at the beginning, a couple's problem, it can be a family problem, it can be between any 2 people, it can sometimes be within the same person himself.
Yes.
Then we can find a common grounding from which to start, and from there to engage the person in a conversation where it's done with respect. But the fundamental issue is actually the attributes, the standards, the values. What motivates you? What is the attribute that engages you in a conversation? So if we look at some of the topics that you mentioned that I'm dealing with over these, I'm a consistent seeker of knowledge. You seem to have given my resume in such a way that you'll think, well,
right.
my gosh, well, it didn't happen in one day. It's a
yes,
year by
years. Yes.
It's years of work that I'm sure that you have done, and other people that are seekers of knowledge are doing with their lives. And as long as I understand that I'm just a seeker of knowledge, and knowledge is so much endlessly out there.
Right,
and what I've
right.
got is so small and so little. So whatever you want to share with me, whether you are Dr. Nelson Bushlam or any person on this earth, is so much greater than what I know because you've lived through it,
yes.
your experience.
Right.
So I've got something to learn from you. I come with humility. I come as a humble person to listen, and you've got a common ground in which we can dissect the diversion.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So, this is very, very interesting because when you talk about certain ideological things, I'll give you a couple examples that were fascinating to me. So one of the conversations that I had that I thought might surprise me, and it surprised me even more than I imagined. I was with a group of people, and we were talking about taking genetic testing through 23andMe. And all of a sudden, a number of the people in the group said, oh, no, I will not be taking it. And there was this strange tone. And I thought, well, okay, that's fine. Why would you not take it? Well, because I know that I'm 100% Italian, or I know I'm 100% French, or I'm 100% Russian. There is no room for me to be anything else. And it was very, very interesting to me because, Gil, what a lot of us are finding out, me included, is that most of us certainly are not from one part of the world. And most of the people, they were from 8 or 10 different locales. To everybody's shock. I can't tell you, we all kind of thought, well, yeah, I'm from this part of Eastern Europe with all the people that and none of them were, Gil. They were all they were composites made up, or an amalgam, I should say, made up of many different European countries. And it was really interesting. My mother found out, for example, that she had women's warrior Viking genetics, which I thought was pretty cool, because I come from her. So, it was an interesting topic.
The other part is speak about your dad and then about your grandparents.
Right.
I can vouch for myself that if once I started to question and to seek for knowledge where I come from, my ancestors, so it's entire Europe. There's England, there's Germany, Lithuania, and Russia. And I myself live in 3 continents. And again, therefore, a person cannot vouch for 100% pure blood of.
That's right.
And on the other hand, the question is, which you are actually bringing into this conversation, is what does it actually matter? If you are 100% free or the other way,
right?
Especially in the United States of America, it's such a beautiful land that allows diversity. There's so many people from so many different cultures, lands, ways of lives, customs, that we come once to live in this land for a while to inclusion with other people. Otherwise, you cannot manage or handle anything in this land at all. And I think once I've lived in 3 continents, South Africa, Europe, Middle East, Israel, and the States, that from what I've seen, I'm proud to say that I'm part of the American nation today, that it is the most inclusive country that I have met
in the world.
That it's the only one that will ever leave.
Right. And I think that's quote unquote, that's what makes America great, the people of this fine country. So let's Gil, let's take this conversation to another step. So if we humble ourselves, if we say, I'm going to humbly agree or disagree with you. There's a humility there. There's an honor, right? There's a respect there that allows us to sort out, yes, we're different here, but often we find, Gil, when we're in these situations, I have found through my own life experiences, that there's more common ground than we think. For example, and once again, when I say this, I'm not coming to have a political conversation. I'm having a conversation with you about understanding our humanity. It's always shocking when I have a conversation with a devout Republican or a devout Democrat, and when you sit down and you just say, listen, let's talk about what's important to you. Oh, the security of your family is important. Oh, being able to express yourself freely is important. Being able to have and create a wonderful life, have a nice house, travel as you go. There really aren't a lot of topics that are different. What may be unique is our perspective about how we want to express that in the world. But I love your point, that is, if we come from humility, if we come from honor, if we come from a place of, if we can't arrive at love, if we come from a place of respect, you can focus on commonality. And from that perspective, you can bring individuals or groups to a common place to create a common desired outcome, which is a great life here in the United States, as an example.
Absolutely. So if we look at the makeup or the cross-section of what is a human being, and I don't want to bisect any human being, I want to look at the cross-section, the inner compass of a human being. So if we look, for example, I'm going to borrow now from numerology, for example,
right,
and from psychology. We're looking at the outer ego, and that's where we are facing diversity and division, because it's my opinion versus yours, and I stand my ground. However, if you look at the inner self, where we come to, and the soul, when we're looking at, and your talk is also about spirituality, where we want to go as humanity. If, for example, both of us met, you, for example, being Republican and we met on the moon, I'm sure that we're going to have no diversity at all and no division, because we're just human beings. Or if both of us speak American, not only English, but in England or in Japan or in China, not speaking the language, I'm sure we're going to find lots of common ground and help each other.
Right.
If we go into a deeper level and speak about our different needs, different wishes, then we'll find that we're not so different, because there really are 6 human needs. Maybe the difference between us is how much of each need do we have in this recipe called life.
Yes, I love that.
But we all have some of it, which is diversity or really something that's, on the one hand, it's called certainty. We all need certainty. Some people want it in relationships, and some people want it when it comes to finances.
Right.
We all need relationships. We all need significance. We all want to contribute in something. We all want to grow. And we all also want some kind of variety in our lives, new people, new kind of foods, new kind of diets. So the difference between us is not so great. Just the question is, how much of each ingredient do we have in our own recipe that makes us up as human beings? Once we look at the deeper level, I think that we can come to inclusion instead of standing there beside Egan and say, I stay my ground and I'm completely keto diet person. Or
Right,
Republican, whatever it is.
right. It's so funny. We get focused more on the diet than on the health outcome of the diet. Listen,
Absolutely.
Gil, this is fascinating to me. When we come back, we're going to take a commercial break here. We'll be right back, folks. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. My guest is Dr. Gil Tavan. I want to talk about how we can help leaders learn to use these distinctions to bring our communities back together again. Folks, we'll be right back.
With all of life's stressors, it can be challenging to stay balanced and healthy. Hemp-derived cannabis oil, or CBD supplements such as Plus CBD oil, are becoming well recognized as a key supplement to optimize wellness. By working directly with our own internal system that maintains homeostasis, the endocannabinoid system, CBD, can help restore the body's natural rhythm when we need it the most. Learn more about Plus CBD oil and how to balance the system that balances you from www.pluscbdoil.com. That's www.pluscbdoil.com.
This is Tim.
And Maria from UI Media Network.
We both know what it's like to own your own business and needing to grow.
Building brand awareness, maximizing your visibility in the community, and reaching new customers is essential in keeping the doors open.
So in the spirit of 2019, we want to offer you a very special price at 50% off for commercial of your own.
So please call now and get on the calendar to get your commercial going for the new year.
So call UI Media Network at 678-495-4345. That's 678-495-4345.
Hi, folks. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash, and you've joined us for Health Matters. I'm having an amazing conversation with Dr. Gil Tavan, and we're talking about how to create relatedness when there is no relatedness to be had or to be found. Gil, thank you again for joining us. I want to have a conversation next about how we can begin to help our leaders to take steps to bring us as a community back together again. I see that for this country really to truly ultimately be great again, we have to stop pointing fingers and saying it's them, and instead say, who can I be to foster a loving, and if not a loving, if that's a struggle for some people, at least once again, to come from a place of respect where we can begin to move to a place where we can talk and not continue to create this chasm that is miles deep between ideological and political parties. So how do our leaders begin to develop steps that bring communities back together again?
Right. So again, this is ingrained and deep into the core kind of question. And of course, out of here, I hope that we can start to solve the world's problems, but all these people that are there listening to us, it can cause a ripple effect. And I heard from one of my spiritual mentors years ago by saying that, look, Gil, he told me, you're going to be my ambassador. And ambassadors are being sent to the hardest of places. So you've got your own role in this world, Dr. Nelson Bushlam, that you're doing incredibly well. And each one in his own God's little territory will do his share by starting from his own. So there are two ways of going about it. One is, of course, the leaders. We need role models. And if we'll see that our role models, the leaders up there, whether it's presidents or heads of governments,
Yes,
or wherever it depends on the country, or kings, England, or wherever it is, Saudi Arabia, that are actually taking into their hands the reins of life and dealing with people in a respectful way, in a way of humility, in a way of listening to each other. Again, we don't have to accept other people's opinions that are going to crush us or nullify us. But many wars were done away with through discussion, through ways of listening to each other, through mediation. One of my skills that I've been training and experienced for many years is mediation, in which we come to a win-win situation For example, let's say that in a South American country, the great places for bananas. And in the States, the great places for peaches or something else, right?
Right.
A natural resource. So if we're discussing what we're fighting about ideologically, we might disagree and we might actually come to heads. But if we discuss that, well, I actually need bananas here in the States because we don't have that many, and you need some peaches down there in the South, and so we can swap and we can barter and we can negotiate different kind of things. Let's bring it home. I want world peace, and so does the other person. How many soldiers have died? American soldiers have died on Afghanistan war. Again, I'm not speaking politically. I'm speaking about
I
the
understand.
mothers,
Right.
fathers,
Yeah.
families, the children that have lost the dads, they whatever it is.
Yes.
So there's no price for a human life because once
Right.
human life is out there, it's worth the whole world. So ways of speaking to each other, and the wisest of all men, King Solomon, have said in his book, Ecclesiastic, he said that life and death are in the power of the tongue, meaning that many times the way that you can decide things, the way that you can navigate things is through the most pertinent and major attribute of a human being, which is the power of speech. So listening how to make and learning how to make the art of speech, the art of communication in such a way that you bring harmony, peace with people. I think that should be taught in every school
Interesting.
from elementary school and onwards. And again, you spoke, let's say, about different kind of athletes, right? So I think that sport can bring lots of people very much together. Whether we play in the Olympics or wherever it is, let's say soccer or football or anything else, basketball, and we from different kind of countries that usually are at heads with each other. And but on the other hand, once we are there on the field, right? So we can actually try to bring peace to each other. We can try
Right.
to respect each other, and that brings not only honor to the country, but that brings peace or merging between different countries through the sport, right? So the many ways, the many communicative ways, body language ways, and others that you can bring people together. Now, I want to ask you, Dr. Nelson,
Yes.
what would you think is the most common language or the basic language of us all human beings that we can all speak?
Body language.
Wow. Now, the audience must know this is not prepared. This is very good. So, body language it's an incredible thing. When Dr. Carl Sagan at the end of the 80s sent towards the universe two people, in other words, an image of two people to meet any kind of UFO that was out there,
Right.
man out there saying like this, saying hello, and a woman that is a little bit less tall than him, standing towards the back. In other words, anywhere in the universe that you'll find anything that is human, that has got a soul, that's got a spirit, that's got a heart, you understand that that means an empty hand. That means I'm coming in peace. I don't have any animosity. I don't
Yes.
try to fight
Yes.
or battle with you.
Right.
And that's something that we should all learn. It's not only communications through different kind of tongues or languages, which can be the source of the division and diversion, but also body language, right? How do we manage to handle us in such a way? It's not only what you say, but it's how you say.
Right.
I can say to you, Dr. Nelson, I respectfully disagree with you. And I can say the same word and say, I respectfully disagree with you. So
yes. They land two very different ways, don't they?
different ways of saying the same thing.
Yes.
And the way that you hold your face, the way that you smile at each other.
Yes.
Something that has to be ingrained, not only for different kind of customers or different people that we want to show out there when we are there selling whatever it is, whether we're waiting for Delta or any other kind of organization, big organization out there, Google or Facebook or whatever it is, but also when we bring it home, when we take off our jackets at the end of the day, and there you show your real self, who you really are, you made up from.
Right, right. Excellent. We're going to shift gears here now. I want to talk more about sort of base relationships, meaning who we are as for example, partners. And when folks, some of you are just listening to me, it could be husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, partners of the same sex. It doesn't necessarily matter. I want to talk about, though, coming from a perspective of how can you set yourself up to be the most communicative, the most loving, the most effective at having a successful relationship. So let's start this way. What are some of the more common mistakes that we make in relationships that sabotage our relationships?
Oh,
And
wow.
then what can we do to be more mindful so we stop engaging in those self-sabotaging behaviors?
Right. You addressing me? You want me to start answering, or you got also the audience that can text you and answer you?
Folks, if you want to text us your answers, please feel free to do so. We've had more and more people engaging here, and I appreciate that. But start with that, Gil. Let's look at what are, like, for example, what are a lot of the mistakes that men make as men in a relationship with women, and then what are some of
Right.
the mistakes that women routinely make
Sure.
in relationships with men, and then how can we change that dynamic?
Right. I think to start with, the basic mistake that men and women make,
Yes,
bring again the ego into this formula which this compound which is called a family. Meaning, I'll do it my way. I don't want to listen to your voice or to your opinion. I have my way in life. I have to do my own life. I'm not part of you. We didn't create a unit together. When each one is fortifying themselves in their own place, each one is seeing their own perspective, their own attitude, that of course is the source of the rest. But when it comes to men, if a man in our day and age, in the 21st century, says to his wife, I'm the breadwinner, I'm the source of your food, I'm the source of your finances, that's humiliating.
yes,
Even if it's true outwardly, but we know today that ladies that stay at home out of choice,
right.
bring children, this is a full time, there's a full
Time
time
job.
kind of
Yes,
occupation. There's
advocation,
no
right.
doubt about it.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah. On the other hand, if ladies, for example, will say to their husbands, right, you don't understand anything about women, you don't understand anything about cooking or about children or about education because I'm there with the kids all the time.
Yes,
The whole point of being a man and a woman together, coming from different kind of species, different kind of background, different kind of mentalities, and there are different mentalities between men and women, generally speaking, right? Is for us to cater for each other, to bring in each other's different diversities. What I don't know, I can learn from my wife, and the other way
beautiful.
around,
Right.
to empower each other. And I think if we come from that perspective of how can we learn from each other and grow as a unit,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
bring those children, bringing friends home, that can really go a long way. That's a basic. That's the first basic step.
I
What are
love
the
that.
audience? Right.
So in other words, once again, I'm hearing that we put our ego aside and we
Absolutely.
come from a place of honor, a place of integrity, and we say, here are the gifts I bring to the relationship. These are the gifts you bring to the relationship. I may not understand who you are exactly or what you do, but I do value who you are and what you bring to honor our family or to honor our couple's dynamic.
I will say it in mathematics. I will say it in mathematics using Kabbalistic teachings, which will be quite weird and strange to listen to, even with uh, something to laugh at. But I'll explain what I have to say. You know, we all grew up with the understanding that 1 = 1 = 2. But in a relationship, 1 + 1 = 3, and I'll explain why. Now, don't make a mistake. 1 + 1 is equal.
Okay.
Right? And I do stand behind my PhD in cosmology. You got to do lots of maths. The reason being that if I only bring myself as one unit, which is separate from my wife, and the same she does, then we will always stay in different kind of camps. However, if we try to share and merge and make something greater than each other, not only through the kids, something between us, right? Something that can grow,
Right.
goals together, things to share, ideas, topics, subject that we can learn and grow together as a couple,
Yes.
right? To empower each other. Then 1 + 1 = 3 because she can proudly say, well, my husband or my partner or my friend, from him, together we've learned, it doesn't have to be that she learned from me or the other way around. Together we've learned this subject. Together we are much more than just each one separately. It's like you say about any car that
Yes.
good car
Right.
out there, it's much more than just the parts. The same with a couple. It's much more than just me and her.
It's so funny you say that because my wife and I, my wife was a little worried. She said, honey, what if you're at work and I have to help the kids with science? And I said, well, honey, then I'll be home and I'll help them. But what was so interesting, Gil, is I'm a respectable writer. I'm not a fantastic writer. You're never going to hear likely about me winning an award for my writing. But my writing is adequate. My wife, on the other hand, is a very, very good writer. And so our kids ended up having her tutor them in writing and me in science and math. So what ended up was they ended up being very good at both. Where my wife isn't fabulous at science, she's great at the liberal arts, and I'm very good at science and not so great at liberal arts. So our kids ended up the best of both worlds. Gail, we're going to take a break here, and folks will return in a second. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. You're listening to another edition of Health Matters. My guest is Dr. Gil Tavan. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered, why are we here? What is the purpose of life? How can I make a difference? The answer is unique for each of us, but the same: to make a difference in the world. And how we each approach it is unique to us. That's the philosophy photographer and author Peter Taremi has adopted with his latest book, Year of the Flood, a photographic narrative of life on the Cincinnati riverfront. He found his path walking down the river with a dog named Murphy. The river presented a canvas to work on his art, but there was a dark side to this idyllic landscape. Through the Murphy Cam Project, he created a book to raise awareness and to fund organizations working to support the community. Year of the Flood is available on his website, petertaremi.com. All proceeds will support Our Daily Bread, a soup kitchen in Cincinnati. Visualize your purpose and support Peter Taremi and the Year of the Flood.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Nelson Bulmash here again. You're listening to Health Matters, and I have a wonderful guest by the name of Dr. Gil Tavan. We're talking about a number of different things, most of which is life perspective and relatedness to ourselves, to others that we interact with daily, whether it be at work, whether it be our spouse, whether it be friends, and how we can improve the quality of our relationships, whether we have love present or in the midst of contempt and maybe even hatred. So it's a very fascinating conversation. Gil, I want to switch gears again, and I want to talk about us as individuals. So I'm sure you do a lot of work with people that perhaps have issues of confidence, who maybe sabotage themselves. What are some of the ways that people routinely sabotage themselves, maybe without any awareness? And what are some things that we can do to alter the conversation that we have with ourselves? How do we self-audit and correct?
Right. But so first and foremost, this is a huge topic with many diversity and many areas that can be discussed. So the crux of the question is your question, Dr. Nelson, is how do people sabotage themselves? How do they actually cause self-destruction?
Yes.
There are many ways of looking at it. One of the ways, and I'll give an example of each one, just one, because there's so many, I'm sure you can also.
Yes, absolutely.
That is, many people are afraid of success. Many people don't believe in themselves. Many people don't lack self-confidence, or they feel that they are not enough, or they feel that the needs cannot be ever fulfilled. You know, the statistics show, when I was in my first year of university many years ago, one of my professors said correctly that 95% of people go to work every day not being happy, not being satisfied. This is a terrible statistics which shows us that we are very much not accurate with what we do. So it's true that we can say, and I'm sure that you have and I have and most of the world have heard and read and seen the story, the book, the movie, The Secret, right?
Yes,
But
absolutely.
right. Nevertheless, trying it out and speaking to many people, there seems to be something missing here, because if all of us just wish for what we're missing and try to get what we're wishing for, so how come most of us are still not rich? How come 95% of the world is not satisfied?
Very good question.
How come some people are sick? How come so many students are not successful in the studies and fail?
Right.
Because all of them understand this very simple physical rule of like attracts like, and whatever I want, I draw from the world. So it doesn't seem to work. Something seems to be missing over here. So Kabbalistically or psychologically, whichever way you look at it, the answers must come from within. In other words, what most people sabotage themselves with are, again, ego trips, standing their ground, not working at the standards, at the values, at the attributes, at the behaviors. Because what sabotages a person, for example, is, for example, I'm not enough. Most issues, as you know, psychologically start at youth, right? When people are small and young, till the age of 5 or 6, depends which psychology you learn.
Right.
Most issues already, most sins that we have seen in our lives and we've experienced already ingrained. And later on in life, we just try to fix whatever damage was done over there. But if we come from a home when we feel that we're unloved, that we're not enough, that we don't have self-confidence, that I'm not tall enough, that I'm a little bit fat and a little bit short, whatever it is that I'm not American enough, whatever it is that the issue is there, I'm gonna sabotage myself unless I'm able to open my mindset and find a different way of looking at things and say, yes, I'm not the ugly duckling. I'm a beautiful kind of. We all know the story of it.
Yes. Yes.
So we rather go to that direction, understanding and valuing what is special about you. And nobody can say, well, I'm just a simple person. Each one is unique, whether it's in the ways or in the attributes or whatever they have to offer this world. You don't have to be Professor Albert Einstein in order to offer the world the theory of relativity. Everyone in their own little piece of haven, in their own home, being a mom, being a dad, being
Right.
a family, can so much contribute to the other. I read in a certain book about communication that the husband is a poor man when he looks at his wife. In other words, he looks at her for love, for attention. The same applies for the wife. The same applies for the kids. The same applies for every person. We all can be very rich when it comes to the bank account, can be, but we're very poor when it comes to relationship and very poor when it comes to our communication or our feelings or our emotional level
Right.
or our spiritual level. There's so much that we can contribute to each other. So I can't go to any shop and say to the shoemaker, well, you're just a shoemaker, because I cannot walk this world without shoes, without my glasses. I'm a cripple without them, without the car. So every person, wherever he is contributing with his special service to us to be a beautiful, homogeneous kind of community. And therefore, we need each other. And that need makes you special for what you have to offer. And the more you understand this and be proud of what you do and bring out and empower that uniqueness, that will be a greatness that you can bring to this world. Today, you don't have to write books. Not everyone, as you said about humbly about yourself, that your wife is incredible, right? And you are a little bit more standard. I'm sure that even standard people today, it's so easy. When we were kids, we didn't have this same capability and the same skills and tools that are available today. Just sit next to the computer, write something nice, bring it up to Instagram, to YouTube, bring it up to LinkedIn, whatever it is that is out there, or just write for yourself
Right.
and bring out what you think about life, your own ways, your own experience in life. You can really share it with others and you can be the source of wisdom to others. Plus, of course, go and study, empower yourself. Dr. Nelson.
Yes. That's interesting, Gil. One of the things I think as well is when you have someone like you or someone like me who has been involved in the idea of improving, learning, growing, transforming ourselves and ourselves within the communities as leaders in the communities is I think it's very empowering and very constructive for us to do whatever we can to help find the jewels, to help find what is wonderful and valuable in each and all the people that we interact with as often as we can. My mother and father, Gil, taught me when I was a really young kid, anywhere you go, son, do everything you can to make that place better. Do what you can to inspire people, not because you have to, but because it's there as something that you can do to improve the quality of the lives of everyone you touch. And I love that. I still think about how beautiful and wonderful that is, that I was I remember 5 or 6 years of age and them saying, wherever you go, look to make a wonderful difference. Say something nice to somebody. Do something to help them feel better about themselves. Do something to make the world a better place to be, to live, to thrive.
Beautiful. I very much agree with your parents, of course.
Yes.
I didn't have the pleasure of meeting them, but what they gave you, and this is like your flag that you're going with, to make an impression, to influence other people.
Right.
And we influenced. And of course, we are a product, each one of us is a product of everyone and everything and all the experiences, events, circumstances that we've gone through in life. There's definitely an imprint on us. And I will give you a small example from my own private life. I've been stuck somewhere in South Africa, in nowhere, the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
And I didn't have any ways of replacing the wheels of my car.
Right. Right.
And it just happened to be a nice man over there that seems to be like nobody. And he helped me. I don't remember his name. I don't think that I ever asked for his name, but he was out there for me at that time, and he was a very pleasant and nice person at this time of need that I had. So that impressed me. I was at one of my spiritual mentors in the Middle East years ago in Israel. He was a very, very old, petite man, very small. And I came to him first time, asked his advice, knowing that he's a giant sage in his own way. He held my hand, and he said, "What's your name?" "Gil." "Look, I don't know of you, and I don't know how I can help you. But whatever it is that you'd like, let me try and be there for you." From that time onwards, this warmth of the hand, on my arm, trying to help a person that he doesn't know, doesn't owe me anything, meeting me in the street with no secretaries, with no guards, just being there as a human being for
Beautiful.
somebody really touched my heart and my
Yes.
life, and it influenced me with many, many students that I had later on. So whatever it is that you do, and you do it in a cultured, beautiful way with other people, right? As we said, respect, humbly, etc. It's going to influence. Your parents influenced you. They didn't know that you're going to this little kid called Nelson is gonna be Dr. Nelson
Right,
Bushman.
right. Gil, we've got about sad. I'm very sad to say this. I wish I had so much more time with you. We've got about 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes, and I want to ask you a question. At the end of my show, I have something called final thoughts, and final thoughts can be anything you want it to be. Thoughts that came to you about doing the show with me today. It could be advice for people. What are your final thoughts in today's episode?
Well, first and foremost, I met a friend, Dr. Nelson, which is a wonderful man. My final thoughts are that through communication, through influencing people, through finding ways of merging, of seeing each other's perspective, through listening to each other, through seeking knowledge and trying to find solutions, and there are out there. And even politics, as you mentioned, can be sorted out through spirituality, through emotions, through harmonious ways, through mediation. Anything in this world is sortable. We don't have to come to heads. We don't have to go to wars. In many ways, where it's keto diet or other things in this world that we can do together by listening, respecting each other, and getting off our high horse, right, of the ego trip, going into humility, respecting other people, respecting diversity, and coming to inclusion instead of division and diversion.
Beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I want to say a few more things, and then sadly, I have to close the show again for today. Folks, listen, I'm going to address you specifically, and Dr. Gill, thank you so much. I hope you'll stay online for just a moment here. Remember that to make a difference, there has to be the desire to make a difference. If you hold it that you hold no value, then you'll express no value in the world. But if you decide one day that you want to be somebody of value, and I assert that you already are, make the choice. I had a woman who had never been on my show. She was one of my first guests, Dr. Grace Stephen, and she is a lovely, lovely woman. She has a doctorate in chiropractic. She teaches yoga and so forth. And I said to her, "You'd never done anything like this before?" And she said, "Never." I said, "Why did you show up on my show?" And she said to me, "Because my desire to help people was far greater than my fear not to step up and help people." So I'm going to leave you with that thought. In the next week, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be here with Butta B. Rocker. We're going to be discussing her life, her music, and her new book, Fear of Failure. She's a remarkable person and entertainer. Join us this time, next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, folks. I'll look forward to being with you again next week.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Health Matters with Dr. Nelson Bulmash, where we help you discover how to ignite your mind, body, and spirit connection. Join us next time when we will bring you more exciting guests and engaging topics. Meanwhile, feed your mind, exercise your body, and nurture your spirit. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.